The plane was shaking violently. The pilot's voice sounded tense. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to face severe turbulence. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened." In row 14, a young woman named Rachel pressed her hands against her lap and whispered softly, "Jesus, hear me. Don't leave me now." The woman next to her was silently crying, and a baby was crying in the background. Rachel looked out the window and saw only dark clouds, lightning cutting across the sky. That trip was more than just a journey. It was an escape. She was leaving to start over, far from pain, loss, and everything she believed had been destroyed. But there, high above, God began to answer the deepest cry of her heart. Rachel's pain began months earlier when she lost her fiancé in a car accident just 3 weeks before the wedding. The man she loved, with whom she dreamed of building a family, was gone in the blink of an eye. Grief swallowed her whole. The days passed gray, and the faith that once sustained her seemed distant. She went to church, but her heart was silent. She cried into her pillow every night, until one day she entered the room where she kept her wedding dress and fell to her knees. "Lord, if you still love me, show me, because I see no way out." It was in that prayer, so raw and sincere, that her journey of faith began again. With her sister's support, Rachel decided to move to another city and accept a job offer far from home. A new routine, new faces, and the hope that maybe God still had a purpose. But the first months were not easy. The work was hard, homesickness suffocated her, and Sundays felt even quieter. Then she met a lady named Grace, who frequented the same cafe every day. One day, noticing Rachel's sad eyes, Grace approached her. "I lost my son years ago, but God sustained me. May I pray with you?" Rachel agreed. That moment was small, but something inside her broke. For the first time in a long time, she cried, and felt that God still heard her. The two began meeting weekly. Grace gave her a prayer journal and a verse written down. "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Psalm 34:18. Rachel read that verse every day. Gradually, her faith was rebuilt. She began to sing again, to write again, to smile again. But the greatest miracle was yet to come. One ordinary afternoon, leaving work, she saw an accident on the street. A fallen motorcycle, a man on the ground. People were gathering. When Rachel ran to help, she saw the man was conscious but in shock. She stayed by his side, held his hand, and prayed quietly, as Grace had taught her. His name was Thomas. Days later, he sought Rachel to thank her for being the only person who stayed with him until the ambulance arrived. They started talking. They discovered they attended the same church. He had gone through a difficult divorce. Both were wounded, but thirsty for God. What began as gratitude turned into friendship, and friendship turned into shared prayer, and over time, love. Rachel no longer believed in happily ever after. But now, she believed in new beginnings written by God's hands. Today, Rachel and Thomas lead a small support group for grieving people together. She shares her testimony courageously, reminding everyone that pain can be the ground where faith blooms strongest. "God didn't stop me from going through the valley," she says, "but He carried me in His arms while I crossed it." That turbulence on the plane was just the beginning of a new chapter. The miracle was not avoiding the pain. It was finding God's presence within her. If you are watching this video with a heavy heart, feeling like you have lost something that will never be recovered, know this: God still writes beautiful stories from broken hearts. The pain that seems unbearable today can be the soil where He plants something new, stronger, more beautiful. Rachel didn't find immediate answers, but she found presence, and that changed everything. The same God who was with her at the bottom of the pit is with you now. No matter how dark it is, God's light is stronger. Maybe you don't see a way out, but God sees beyond. He sees purpose where there is only ruin to your eyes. Trust Him, even with tears. Pray, even if the words don't come. He is near to the brokenhearted. Rachel thought her story was over, but God showed her there were still pages to write. And with you, it will be no different. If you trust, God will also lift you up, because He is an expert at turning ashes into beauty and tears into testimonies. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. God bless you.